Hey, hey, hey. Happy Thursday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, 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 gang. Welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by thegaminggang.com, which I happen to be the grand poobah. I am the founder and editor-in-chief of thegaminggang.com. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Thursday, April 15th, 2021. This is live stream number 649. So welcome. If this is your first time visiting, let me point out, very, very casual. Feel free, kick your feet up, relax, take a load off. We're not, engaging in rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. We're just talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news. So what I normally will do is the first half or so of the show, I will share the latest in gaming news. Every once in a while, I share some PC gaming news like tonight. I've got a bunch of it tonight. You'll find out why. And about the second half, I usually do an unboxing and first look at a board game, or we'll page through some role-playing game product. So tonight, we're going to take a peek at the Pathfinder 2nd edition Bestiary number 3 from Paizo Inc. So if you are watching live, keep in mind, it's usually about a half hour of the news and other nonsense before I jump on into taking a look at a gaming product. But if you are watching after the fact, as long as it's not within a few minutes of the stream ending, then there will be timestamps so you can jump ahead if you're not really interested in the latest in gaming news. Of course, if you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already, and if you do subscribe, ding that bell. It'll not only let you know when the Dispatch streams live, Monday through Thursday nights, right here on YouTube. It'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my recent review of World's Fair 1893 from Foxtrot Games and Renegade Game Studios. This is the exclusive Amazon edition. You can only get this through Amazon. And I really, really enjoyed it. Really dug it. So by all means, check out my review. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com. For all latest in gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. I do want to ask a personal favor of everyone who tunes in and catches this show. If you could, whenever you watch the stream, whenever you're done, doesn't matter what time it is, please swing by thegaminggang.com and take a peek at one of the articles there. We have over 10,000. I think we're now at over 11,000 articles. And my next review will be review number 750. I'm not telling you what it is. I gave a clue on Twitter, but I'm not going to reveal it ahead of time unless you figure out the clue. And that will be up no later than Saturday. I don't think I'm having an opportunity to get it posted tomorrow, but it will be up on Saturday. Of course, also want to mention that this is a live stream. So if you are watching live, that means chat is available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways that I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay, but I do my best to pay attention to chat. So if you want to say howdy, or maybe get a question, a comment, by all means, chime in and I will do my best to respond. So far, first out the gate tonight was Gary Clarkson. Sarah D is saying howdy. Flaming Huron is with us as well. So is the Motor City Madman. The Madman is back. All right, quiet, everybody. We talked schmack about the Madman all last night because it was his Wednesday to be gaming. So no more. Hi, Madman. I'm just joking. All right. Anyway, so chat is off and running. Anyway, so this is Thursday. This is my Friday, essentially. And Indigo Dragon has popped in to join us in chat tonight as well. Anyway, it's just been a crazy day. I did my interview with Satine Phoenix and her husband, Jameson, actually. And that will be up on Monday. So because you're watching live, I play it off as if the interview is on Monday. Because their big Kickstarter for Sirens Battle of the Bards kicks off on Tuesday. So I know if I put that video up now, people have already forgotten it by the time Tuesday rolls around. So I figured, well, I'm going to put it up on Monday. So we kind of played off that the Kickstarter starts the next day. So you know that. I know that. Most people watching the video, they won't know that. So we had a good time. It was fun. I had a really good time chatting with them both. And I got to say, this Kickstarter sounds pretty cool. So by all means, I'll have that video up on Monday afternoon. I'll have it up before I do the show on Monday. All right, so I've got some news for us. So we're going to dive on in because arriving this month is a very interesting looking game from Rebel Studio, who I am not familiar with. I believe they are out of Poland, but I love the artwork to this game. Here's the dope on Meadow. Experienced nature observers bravely roam the area in search of plants, animals, and various curiosities. They eagerly use their knowledge in the meadows, among the grasses, and they can spot small rodents. And since they are here, maybe a buzzard, a fox, or even a viper will appear in a moment. Meadow is a board game in which players take the role of wanderers watching nature. Equipped with a map, they stroll through the picturesque surroundings, looking for inspiration and capturing breathtaking views. Players are driven by passion and curiosity, but also by competition for the title of the keenest nature observer. It'll be awarded to whoever scores the most points from the observed species of animals and plants, landscapes, and souvenirs collected from the hike. Competition continues by the fire, where players compete in achieving the goals of their expeditions. During the game, players take turns placing path tokens on one of the two boards. Using the main board allows a player to acquire cards, but playing them requires certain conditions. Using the campfire board activates special actions that help in the implementation of individual strategies and gives the opportunity to achieve goals for which players will receive additional victory points. In Meadows, players collect ground cards, animal life habitats, observation cards, specific species observed during the journey, and landscape and discovery cards, views and interesting souvenirs from their trips. The winner scores the most points in the obtained sets of cards and on the campfire board. Meadow is for 1 to 4 players. It is for ages 10 and up, plays in 30 to 90 minutes. It's going to carry an MSRP of approximately $39.99. Reason why I say approximately is because I have seen the MSRP as far as the euro, but not as far as the American dollar. And it's kind of weird. I was actually just talking with my best friend, Elliot Miller, who maybe one of these days might return to the gaming gang. I don't know. And we were talking about some of the Kickstarters. He's actually pledged some Kickstarters, and he said, oh, yeah, it was XYZ euros. And I said, oh, so does that mean it was XYZ dollars? Or did they have the different exchange rate? And he's like, oh, no, it was the different exchange rate. So it was higher. I was like, of course. Of course. Nicholas Stanishek has joined us once again. Good to see you, Nicholas. Thanks for coming on by and hanging out. Let's move on to the next news piece because arriving in Q3 from Smirk and Laughter Games, which is actually a division of Smirk and Dagger Games, is the Night Cage. Here's the scoop. You awaken in the dark, your skin cold, your mind blank. You have nothing but your fear, a flickering candle, and a question. How long will your light last? Trapped and crawling your way through a pitch black labyrinth equipped with nothing but dim candles. Does that mean they're stupid? Stupid candle! You know, like a dim bulb, right? You must work together to explore the maze and escape. Unfortunately, your weak candlelight illuminates only your immediate surroundings. Worse still, horrifying wax eaters, monsters who despise the light, lurk in the suffocating darkness, waiting for their opportunity to strike. The Night Cage is a fully cooperative horror-themed tile placement game that traps 1 to 5 lost souls within an unnatural labyrinth of eternal darkness. To win, players must each collect a key, find a gate, and escape as a group. Escape won't be easy, as each player's visibility is limited by the weak light of their candle. They illuminate only tiles directly connected to their own, and when players move, tiles that fall into darkness are removed from the game. Doubling back the way you came only opens new paths, the old ones being lost forever, with critical keys and gates vanishing if your light moves away from them. The Night Cage is for, once again, 1 to 5 players. It's for ages 14 and up. Plays in 40 to 60 minutes. It's going to arrive this summer, and it is going to carry an MSRP of $40. Sounds kind of interesting. Kind of spooky. Anyway, I do see that a Grade A has joined us in chat. Good to see you, Grade A. Thanks for coming on by to hang out on a Thursday night, Friday morning, whatever time and place it is, whatever day it happens to be when you're watching. So it is Thursday, and Thursday always means we've got a free PC game over at the Epic Games Store. This week brings us 3. That's right, we have 3 free PC games from the Epic Games Store. I am going to share with you the info about each of them, and I'm also going to share the launch videos, which are pretty short. They're like minute and a half. I think one of them's 2 minutes. So first off, we have Deponia, The Complete Journey from Daedalic Entertainment. Junk, and even more junk. Life on the trash planet Deponia is anything but a walk in the park. No surprise that Rufus had enough of that and hatches one ludicrous plan after the other to escape this bleak place. Did you see that ludicrous display last night? Matt, when Rufus, on one of his attempts to leave Deponia behind, meets Goal, he not only falls madly in love with the beautiful girl from Elysium, he also accidentally shoves her right off her comfortable star cruiser and down onto the desolate trash planet. This accident kindles a new brilliant plan. He needs to get Goal back to the floating city of Elysium, and while he's at it, he can also impersonate her sleazy fiancé, Cletus, who is the spitting image of Rufus for some reason. And thus, an exciting adventure begins. Showered in top scores and awards, the Deponia trilogy, created by the developers of Edna and Harvey, The Breakout, The Whispered World, and Memoria, managed to reach cult status almost instantly. Thanks to its exciting story, likable characters, and hilarious dialogues. I don't know, we've talked about hilarious before. They tell you it's hilarious, it's probably not. And a finely crafted mixture of comedy and puzzles. Deponia is enjoyable for both young and old. Join Rufus on his thrilling journeys for the first time in a complete edition with many new features that will not only be a blast for hardcore adventure fans, but even for those who are new to the genre. So let's take a peek at the launch video, give you a better feel. This is, from what I understand, the first two games we're going to be taking a look at. They are point and click kind of adventure games with a lot of animation. So let's take a peek at the launch video.
It's kind of pathetic, you get all erratic about dirty dishes congesting the sink. I'm tired of your bothers, remember our fathers that dwelled in a world filled with rubbish and stink. But when all hope was lost, someone raised from the dust. He was handsome and cunning, his haircut had style. Courage was shining in his eyes as he said, screw you guys, mind your own business, I'm off now, goodbye.
That wasn't the whole story, was it?
I think it's going to be a trilogy.
That's exactly what you can now get in a single set. Rufus scrapes a living on the junk planet Deponia.
Ah, terrific. The rotten smell from Sector 9 isn't so disgusting today.
Yet when Goal and Elysium appears, everything changes.
We need to go back to Elysium.
Together, Rufus and Goal try to escape from Deponia.
Here we go. I will use my amazing resemblance to Cletus to sneak on board, together with Gold.
Experience the most ludicrous story ever in its full length.
What good is the fastest vessel if we don't even know where our target is?
And get all three parts in one set for the very first time. Also, look forward to a whole bunch of bonus material, including new songs from Pokey and loads of developer commentaries.
And here we are on the front of Tony's home. I can comment a bit on the visuals.
I promised Goal I would never throw axes at her again.
Help me!
Hang on. Oh, what have I done?
Deponia, the complete journey.
So there you have Deponia, the complete journey. And as Flaming Heron has pointed out, the reality is, yes, we are scoring 5 free games this week because this is a trilogy. The complete journey is actually 3 games. I got to be honest, I don't know how long they are, but every one of these 5, I guess we'll say, are very well regarded. The last one is the one that's not as positively reviewed, but pretty interesting. So, and wasn't that hilarious? Every time I hear somebody say hilarious, I always think of, now I'm going back when Dana Carvey used to portray Ross Perot on Saturday Night Live. And he was always like, hilarious. That was hilarious. Don't know. That's what sticks in my head. Next up, absolutely free. This is also from Daedalic Entertainment, is Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth. Based on Ken Follett's world bestseller, The Pillars of the Earth, retells the story of the village of Kingsbridge in a whole new interactive way. Play as Jack, Aliena, and Philip and change the events of the book through exploration, decision-making, and dialogues. 12th century England, in a time of great poverty and war, a small town begins the construction of a cathedral to claim wealth and security for its people. Their struggle to survive lives... What? That didn't make sense the way it's presented. I would take a guess it's in their struggle to survive. Lives and destinies intertwine. Somebody forgot to put in. Philip the monk becomes the prior of the small abbey of Kingsbridge. At the same time, a boy called Jack is raised in the woods by his outlawed mother. His apprenticeship as a stonemason paves his way to become a gifted master builder. Together with the disgraced noblewoman Ileana, Jack and Philip begin the construction of one of the greatest cathedrals England will ever see. So let's take a peek at the launch video for Ken Follett's The Pillars of the Earth. I have to say that I remember watching the mini series. For some reason, I want to say it was on TNT for The Pillars of the Earth, and it was actually pretty good. Rufus Sewell was in it. It was actually pretty cool. I have never read the books because I know there might be more than two, but because I mean, I think the last time I read an 1,800-page book was when I read The Stand from Stephen King. And I actually read the special edition that came out a few years later when he actually kind of updated it for like the modern era because of like Madonna and stuff. Like music from Madonna was in it. And I swear, I think that clocked in at like 2,200 pages. It was like, oh my gosh. All right. So Pickles and Disavowed 92 are with us as well. Very cool. I see a Great A's in chat shilling for Fantasy Flight Games again. Oh, jeez. All right, so there's one other free game. I know it's like, but wait, there's more. And it is the first tree from David Wehle. I'm taking a guess it's pronounced Wehle. From the creator of Home is Where One Starts comes the first tree, a third-person exploration game centered around two parallel stories, a fox trying to find her missing family, and a son reconnecting with his father in Alaska. Players take control of the fox on a poignant and beautiful journey that crescendos at the source of life and perhaps results in an understanding of death. Along the way, players can uncover artifacts and stories from the son's life as he becomes intertwined in the fox's journey towards the first tree. I like the art style of this. So once again, here is the launch video.
Are you awake?
It was just a dream.
No, it's okay. Tell me what happened.
I saw a fox looking for her missing cubs. And along the way, the land told my story. A path was illuminated before her, and it led to something ancient, something with answers. So she ran. It's a difficult path to the first tree, but each of us must eventually take it, including me.
You can score all this gaming goodness absolutely free for the next week. Yes, through April 22nd at 10 a.m. Central Time. That's when they always roll out the next freebie or freebies. So there is lots and lots for you to choose from absolutely free this week over at the Epic Game Store. As far as the first tree, it's got positive reviews, but one of the critiques that I've seen is that it's just kind of happening to you. You're actually traveling throughout the forest and you're just kind of going from place to place. I don't know. Could be very cool. Could be very cool. I guess if you're fans of Journey, not the band, the game, this is probably right up your alley. All right, very nice. So we had Melwinius from York pop in for a moment to say howdy, and they will catch the show later. Thank you very much for hanging out for a moment there, Melwinius. Kevin Thorpe has popped in to chat as well. Very nice. So I saw Flaming Heron. We were talking about books, long books, and Flaming Heron said that they read quite a few books of great length. Nowadays, now if it's nonfiction, then I'll read something that's like just thousands of pages. But if it's fiction, then once I get to about 700 pages, I'm a lot of times Stephen King, and I really do like Stephen King. Sometimes Stephen King has a hard time wrapping up his stories. It's like, seriously? So it's pretty much over, but there's still 200 pages left? What? It's like, what's going on here? All right, my final news piece, now available in PDF from MT Black. It's a new D&D adventure. Here's the latest on Tomb of the Twilight Queen. Devious traps and fabulous treasures abound in this adventure for the world's greatest role-playing game. Centuries ago, the Twilight Queen reigned over the most powerful empire in the world, but her realm now lies in ruins. Her people are scattered, and her remains are buried in a grand tomb full of deadly traps and marvelous secrets. A renowned scholar has hired you to enter the tomb in search of a fabled artifact, but you will need all of your courage and ingenuity to survive. Tomb of the Twilight Queen is a 4 to 8 hour adventure for 1st through 4th level characters. It's been thoroughly play tested, requires minimal preparation to run, and can easily be transported to any 5th edition campaign world. Right now, this 45-page PDF is available over at Drive-Thru RPG for $2.95. Reason why I wanted to share this is MT Black is really well thought of as far as 5th edition content, 5th edition adventures, and so forth. And of course, I say it all the time. If you're running a fantasy role-playing game that doesn't happen to be Dungeons & Dragons, it's not a very difficult game to port over to your favorite system. So, and like I said, MT Black is really making a name for themselves with these D&D releases. So I thought I'd share that 45-page adventure, not even $3, probably worth a look. All right, as I was just talking about Drive-Thru RPG, do want to point out that the gaminggang.com and thus the Dispatch are affiliated with the One Bookshelf sites. So if you are going to visit, say, I don't know, Drive-Thru RPG, then by all means, please swing over to thegaminggang.com, click on one of our banner ads to Drive-Thru, and that way, if you do happen to make a purchase, I get a little portion of that sale. All those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up. I really, really do appreciate it. really, really do. Because it keeps the gaminggang.com around. There's no getting around that. So, and I know a lot of people are out there and they do use those links. So much appreciated as well. All right. So I am going to be jumping on in to take a look at Bestiary 3 for Pathfinder 2nd Edition in just a moment. So the Madman says, I'd have to check that out, especially for that price. Yes, yes. If it's good, if it's complete crap, well, you're not going to get that $2.95 back. Like I said, MT Black is like, every time I see something, people are always talking about the really good stuff that he puts out. All right. So before I jump into the page through, I want to talk about what's coming up next week. So as far as Monday's show, I'm not positive because there's some things that are supposed to be heading my way. Actually, you know what? Let me move this mic for a second. And I should mention, kind of change the cameras a little bit. So the angle here is a little bit different. And, you know, I did not realize if you listen to the show through like probably earbuds or headphones or something like that, somehow a buzz made its way into the line that I had no idea about until I was prepping for the interview today. And of course I had the cans on. And all of a sudden I was listening back to it. And I was like, what the hell's that buzz from? What the hell's going on? Because I don't hear it in the speakers, either down here in the Duct Tape Studios, or if I'm using my laptop. Even when I've got earbuds on with the laptop, don't hear the buzz. All of a sudden I was getting this buzz. I'm like, oh, wait, I got to do something about that because that bugs me. So hopefully I have gotten rid of it. I don't know. Fingers crossed. We will find out. Anyway, on Monday's show, unless something amazing shows up, like between now and then, we're going to take a look at Scope Stalingrad from Draco Ideas. This is a 2-player, actually I think it's 2 or 4-player card game of snipers in Stalingrad, in the ruins of Stalingrad during World War II. On Tuesday, we're going to take a look at Stargrave from Osprey Games. That's right, it just showed up today. So we are going to take a peek at the latest miniature skirmish level miniatures rules from Joseph A. McCullough. This is from Osprey Games, so we're going to take a peek at that. Wednesday show, we're going to take a look at Polyversal. This is another set of miniatures rules. This is another science fiction game here, but it is 6mm miniatures, so pretty epic battles as far as Polyversal. And then on Thursday, we are going to take a first look at Jackals, which is a Bronze Age fantasy role-playing game. Once again, this is also from Osprey. So we are going to take a peek at that. There is some Stronghold game stuff on its way. I know, amazing. It's like, for some reason, they don't want to send me news. I find out about their Kickstarters like after the fact. Or I shouldn't say that. I find out through the grapevine and share the news about them. So it's like, don't want to send me any news pieces, press releases, but you're going to send me games. Okay. All right. And I have something coming from China that I have no idea what it is. And of course, also have some Call of Cthulhu stuff on its way from Chaosium Inc. So very cool for that as well. So we got some goodies cooking. Got some goodies cooking. So a Great A says, mine is in the mail. His is in the mail. Taking a guess, probably talking about Stargrave. Just my guess. So Flaming Heron says they just think so much of your reviews. Well, the thing is, Steven left Stronghold. He retired, which I think I mentioned, what, was it yesterday, day before, something like that? That I think Steven's like reviewing games now, Steven Bonacor. And once he was gone, I believe the woman who was doing the PR for Stronghold and Indie Cards and Boards, I think she branched out and started her own like gaming PR company. And I think something got screwed up with her database, that she no longer was using the database that I was part of. So it looks like that's been fixed. But yeah, that kind of came out of nowhere because I just shared the news about the Australia Kickstarter. And I was thinking to myself, you guys couldn't even send me the news piece. Like I just stumbled across this. And then all of a sudden I get an email saying, oh yeah, we're this is what's on its way. It's like a box of Stronghold stuff. I'm like, okay. Anyway. Yeah, no, I don't know. Just like we're going to take a look at the Bestiary number 3 from Paizo Inc. I never know what's coming from Paizo. Like, oh, look what showed up. Because that just showed up yesterday. So that arrived in the mail yesterday. Speaking of, we are going to take a peek at the Pathfinder 2nd edition Bestiary number 3 from Paizo Inc. It's clocking in at 320 pages. It contains, I believe, over 300 new monsters and beasties. And it does carry an MSRP of $49.99. It is available right now. So let's swing on over to the other camera, because here I've got the Pathfinder Bestiary number 3. As I go through this, we're not going to take a look at every page. I am going to stay picture in picture up here. So I am actually, my noggin is going to be blocking out some portions of the book as well. Just, kind of trying to keep the pirates at bay. So Grade A says there's a Pathfinder miniature board game coming out this summer that he thinks is called Arena. I have heard some things, but I have not heard something official just yet. So I don't know. I honestly don't know. And the funny thing is, I get loads of press releases from Paizo as well. I'm not sure if it's going to be through Paizo or if it's going to be through WizKids. And if it's through WizKids, that might be why I'm not necessarily getting that info. All right, so let's flip on over. Take a look at the back real quick. So it says, triple threat. Over 300 captivating creatures and fantastic foes pack the pages of this compendium of creatures from the world of Pathfinder. With classic creatures like Clockworks and Flumps. My gosh, we were just talking about that yesterday. Oh, talk about serendipitous. The Flumps. Returning favorites like Imperial Dragons and Mighty Titans. Brand new menaces from all over Galarian. This must-have tome of monsters is an essential companion to your Pathfinder game. Once again, keep in mind, I always point out that with any of these bestiaries, of course, you can utilize these with just about any fantasy role-playing game. And I know people are big fans of bestiaries out there as well. So by all means, if you see some stuff that's pretty cool in here, even if you don't happen to run or play Pathfinder, you might consider picking up the PDF. I do not know if this is specifically going to be available in PDF. These usually are. They normally are. I did not see a PDF amount. I will take a guess because a lot of times what they'll do is the core books, which I consider a bestiary to be a core book, they're usually a little less. So as an example, when we have the Pathfinder Adventure Paths, They usually clock in anywhere from about 90 to 110 pages. And those are $24.99. And then for the PDFs, they're $17.99. I have seen some of the core books where, like, I believe the actual Pathfinder second edition core book is like $14.99 for the PDF. So Nicholas says, pretty book, but not excited about all the monsters in it. I don't know what to tell you. Cameron F. has joined us in chat. Hello, Cameron. Welcome aboard. We've had Cameron pop in from time to time. All right, so we're going to jump in here. We're going to get our usual breakdown of, okay, so how do you use this book? What the hell? What is all this stuff? We got our little icons explaining what those are. No doubt we're going to get the little side boxes that we see all the time. Once again, this is a page through. I have not cracked this book open. You are seeing this for the first time alongside with me. That is how I do my page throughs, my unboxings, all that stuff. So I'm sure there are people out there watching this who are going to know way more about this than I do. So always dig. One of the things I dig about the Pathfinder Bestiaries is that for the most part, we almost always get a piece of art for each of the entries. On occasion, we don't. But for my money, I find that the Paizo Bestiaries tend to have the most artwork out of any of them. And that does include 5e, because there are 5e books as far as when we have like adventures and stuff we take a peek at. A lot of times they'll throw like creatures and monsters out there and we get no artwork for them. So that is not the case for the most part with the Pathfinder books. Now, of course, I say that, and we're going to see a bunch of entries that have no art. So that Adlet, Cameron says that Adlet has the same creepiness that the Cats movie did. Oh, thank God I did not see that. I had absolutely no interest in seeing that. I've never had an interest in Cats outside of the one song that I know was famous, which I'm like, that's not a bad song. Yeah, not my bag of tricks. Plus, I heard people when they first went and saw it, a lot of the special effects weren't done. There must have been a real, I was going to say mind F-bomb, I guess we'll say. Heather L. has popped in to join us in chat. Says it's the first time catching the show live and that they enjoy my page throughs and thoughts. And Heather's new to RPG games, and I provide good insight for experienced players and new players. I hope. I've only been dealing with these things for 4 decades. So I'll give you a great tip for newbies out there. If you're a new game master, in fact, I talked about this with Satine Phoenix and her husband today, that far too many beginning game masters are just too wrapped up in the rules. Do not be a slave to the rules. Have an idea about how the game plays and go from there. There is nothing worse than being in the middle of an adventure. Everybody's having a great time. Something happens and the game master's like, oh, wait a second. Let me look up that rule. And then everything screeches to a halt and they're like, no, it's not in this book. Hang on. It must be in the other book. Hold on. Like, I tell people all the time, hand wave it. Just, come up with some random rule right there on the spot. And then find the rule when you're done. And the next time everybody gets together, you can say, oh, hey, by the way, when we played last session and you were on the boat that went over the falls and I wasn't sure how to, what kind of damage that did or how you'd survive that. Well, I found the rules. So from here on out, we do it like this. So Heather says that she plays with her kids and they wing it a lot of the time. Yeah, exactly. You have a way better time. Like I mentioned to Satine Phoenix today, I said, Gary Gygax is not going to leap from the grave to punish you for not running his game correctly, which, let's be honest, hasn't been his game since Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, but still. All right, so kind of zipping through here. I'm just going to skip through some of these. Jump ahead. Beheaded. Bebeto-san? I swear to God, I glanced at that. I thought it said asbestos man. No joke. Seriously. So Great A's asking if my interview with Satine is up. See, that's what happens. People show up late for the show. They miss all that exciting news. No, it will not be up until Monday. And between us, you watching live or whoever watches the show after the fact, we play it off like the interview's taking place on Monday. Because I pop up so many videos and so much news and stuff like that on the website that if I put that video up now and the Kickstarter's not starting until Tuesday, everybody will have forgotten. They won't have, there wouldn't be as much bang for the buck, I guess we would say. So a Great A says the asbestos man is a yokai. Yeah, we were just talking about, I don't know if that's the pronunciation. The yokai, we were talking about a game yesterday. It was the one with the priest of the sun and moon. I forget what the title was. So Great A says they only half listen to what I say. Hey, that's about twice as much as most people do. So we've got a cavalry brigade, the city guard. Nice. I like the armor that they've got them in. That was one of the things that I thought was pretty cool about the prior adventure path for Pathfinder, not the what is it? Not the vaults, not the mega dungeon that's going on, the 3-part mega dungeon right now. The one prior to that, which was kind of urban. I liked what they did with the City Watch. I thought that was pretty cool. I like how they had different equipment, non-lethal equipment. I thought that was pretty cool. But once again, that was another adventure path that Paizo sent me like the first 2 to review. That was it. It's like, okay, I don't know what happened. All right, so we got some demons. We've got Dretch. I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that. It's a record demon. One thing I should mention as I'm paging through here, as far as the camera, I swapped out lenses for the Panasonic that I do the overview shots from. And we should be in pretty good focus throughout this. So I tend to swap out my lenses when I'm doing a page through, like a book page through, because we know we're not going to be like zooming in and zooming out and things like that. So Eleftheris create, okay, so let's see, it's Elefter is creative. There we go. Has joined us in chat. Welcome aboard. I believe it's the first time you've stopped in to visit with us. So make yourself comfortable. And everybody's pretty friendly in these here parts. So they say, seems cool, but I don't like the whole woke direction Paizo is taking. Well, you got to realize that the vast majority of gaming companies are moving further into that direction. So you have to keep that in mind. Now, this is not really something that I am going to get too deep into. But I'm old school, so I talk about old school Renaissance all the time. And I personally, I'm old, so I've got thicker skin. So I don't get upset about certain things, and I'm not always looking to be offended by things. But I got to be honest, though. I mean, I have no issue with game companies trying to make their products more appealing to a more diverse audience. I have no issue with that whatsoever. And I'll be the first to say, excuse my French, I've been around this industry long enough to know there's been some shit that went on behind the scenes that people weren't aware of. And I'm glad to see that that's people are trying to put an end to that. So anyway, but people sit there and Paizo's moving in this woke direction. And other people are like, oh, Wizards of the Coast is moving in this woke direction. How I look at, oh my gosh, there we go. Here's the flump. We were talking about the flump yesterday. There you have it. And it was funny because a grade A was actually describing it on yesterday's show. And that is pretty much exactly how a grade A described it, too. That's it. So, very cool. That's pretty funny. All right. Anyway, moving right along. One of the other things that I should point out is that, in my opinion, everybody's welcome at my table, as long as you're not a jerk. That's what I've always said. If you're a jerk, I don't want you there. And there are a lot of people who are not woke who are jerks, and there are people out there who are woke who are jerks. They're not welcome at my table. Everybody else, if you're there to have a good time, we're all going to have a good time. You're not there to like dump your troubles on me. We're all good. All right. So just kind of zipping on through here. The Green Man. I like the artwork. I definitely like the artwork. I've said it before. I'll say it again. And I know some people get upset with me when I say this. I like the artwork for second edition Pathfinder better than I did the artwork for first edition. It's not as cartoonish as far as I get. So Disavow 92 says, let's not get political. I know. I agree. I don't think I've gotten political. I don't believe I've stepped over, into that realm. If you follow the show, you know what side my bread's buttered on. All right, kind of zipping on through. Oh, that's pretty creepy looking. Yakume. Hundreds of bloodshot eyes peek out from under the fleshy layers of a Haikume's skin. These hulking aberrations cover knowledge and go to great lengths to keep what they know to themselves. Cameron's like, let's get physical. Yeah, okay, so he's busting out the oh gosh, now I'm trying to remember her name. Did that song. Olivia Newton-John. Took me a second there. It's not a song that I've heard any time in the last couple of decades. So we've got Kami. So we've got some Kami here. The Kadama. That's kind of cool. Kangaroo. There you go. I'm busting out kangaroos in my campaigns. That's it. They're all going to be kangaroos. Every creature that the players encounter is going to be a kangaroo. So you'll notice as we go through here, we've got these little side bars and we've got the little icon that's going to tell you what are they talking about? What's going on here? So it's just a little extra information as well. So Flaming Red says, as long as you don't break into some summer loving. I got to say, I was never a Grease fan. I know people are going to be like, what? I saw Grease in the theater as a kid, as a small kid. And just, I don't know, just never, just didn't do it for me. So we got the Leshy. So it's kind of interesting how we're seeing some creatures here that we've seen in other bestiary books for other games. So kind of interesting to see what Paizo's take is going to be on some of these as well. a living symbol. So Heather says, I'm going to have that song in my head all day now. Yeah, I hate when that happens. Yeah, this is kind of goofy. So it's a heart with like spider legs. All right, so here's one of the things. There you go. Grease lightning. Yes, and there was actually a bad word in that song. And it was like, as a kid, it was like, oh, wow. It's like, oh. One thing I was going to say is and this is not just a Paizo thing. I have seen in some of the more recent bestiaries, it's like, what is the fascination with putting spider legs on everything? So here's a heart with some spider legs on it, or essentially spider legs. That's kind of cool. The mapped it. The Mortic. So we got a life leecher. So what are these? Oh, these are Mortics. Okay. So one thing I should mention as we're flipping through here. A myceloid, they're little fungi creatures, maybe not so little. I really, really am looking at running an old school Renaissance sort of role playing game remotely and opening it up to folks who follow the show, follow the website, and maybe doing it, playing every couple of weeks, maybe utilizing Skype. Because I really, really want to run a game. I want to run a fantasy role playing game. I don't do it enough. So hang on. We had the Mothman. Where did we go? So there's the Night Gaunt. I guess. Oh, there we go. I wonder if he's got any prophecies he wants to share with us. The Mothman. Little is known of the strange, creatures known as Mothmen, save that when they make themselves known, calamity is sure to follow. That was a bizarre movie. That's actually a bizarre story. How dangerous is the Ouroboros? It just rolls off the tongue, I can tell you that much. All right, kind of jumping through. There are loads and loads of new creatures in here. Very, very cool. The Rakshasa, or Rakshasa. I never know how to pronounce that right. So Flaming Hearns is thinking of the fly looking at the Mothman. Help me. Help me. I do see that we've got a few kind of Asian themed creatures in here as well. That's pretty cool. It's the Sasquatch. A seahorse. I was going to say it's a giant seahorse, not just a regular old seahorse. Very cool. Jump through a little further here. It's a Skelm. Rage-filled Skelms are drawn to any settlement with more than a few hundred souls, using magical disguises and leveraging societal norms to their benefit. These antlered monsters crave fearful respect and brutally punish any who dare disagree with their lofty opinions. Oh, that reminds me. Even if you disagree in the slightest degree. A skull swarm, a sloth, snakes, some new kinds of snakes, new sprites. Steno with living snakes for hairs. Stenos, who are descended from Medusas, are a curious and independent ancestry. One thing, it was funny when I was talking with Satine Phoenix today, I had mentioned, because they were talking about how this new setting book is open for both good characters and evil characters, and it'll work equally well. And I said, as far as player characters, I never use alignment I don't care if I'm running Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. I do not use alignment for player characters. I do with NPCs, but I do not for the player characters because I don't want things to be that cut and dry. I want the players to role play their characters how they feel. They want to do it. So we got the Valkyrie. Nosferatu vampire. So here, I was going to say, we don't have an image of it. Over there. There we go. A Nosferatu thrall, which I would think is that right here. It's Renfield. All right. Very cool. I just have a soft spot for Bestiaries all the time. I always do. Even if I wouldn't use 99% of these, I always like reading through these. It gives me some ideas for other things. So that's pretty cool. And then we finish up with zombies. We got some new zombies here. Zombie Dragon. We'll get an ability glossary that's going to tell us all about the various different abilities that the creatures do have. We have the creature traits as well. I was going to say we should get the by type and by challenge level. So we get the languages here. There you go, creatures by level. And we get the OGL to wrap up. And there we've got 320 pages. I actually have a review coming up for the Ancestry Guide. So you might want to keep your eyes peeled for that. That is the Pathfinder Bestiary number 3. Of course, I will have a review of this in the very near future as well. I also have a review coming for the Starfinder Bestiary 2. So that will be on the horizon as well. I got a bunch of role-playing game reviews coming soon. So once again, do want to mention that the Pathfinder Bestiary 3 is for 2nd edition Pathfinder. It is from Paizo Inc. Clocks in at 320 pages. Does carry an MSRP of $49.99. So Flaming Heron says that they have the same opinion about alignment. I play my characters how I feel they would be besides the race they are. Yeah, I mean, and I understand, if you're going to play, let's say, a paladin, then by all means, yes, you should stick and play along the lines of a lawful good character. But I mean, come on. It's like, geez. It's like, they don't have to be. I mean, even like, and the funny thing is, the way I've always seen it is the paladin is sort of based on Sir Lancelot. But look at Sir Lancelot. So I wouldn't necessarily say Sir Lancelot is lawful good. I mean, lawful good people don't tend to sleep with other people's wives. So, but yeah, that's how I kind of do it. Now, non-player characters, creatures, things like that, if they're, if they've got an alignment, I play kind of within that. But something that I always point out, and I guess we're kind of getting into like a Game Master tip thing. I will have a new episode of So You Want to Be a Game Master, probably up Sunday. I'm going to talk about non-player characters. But what I was going to say is that even the best villains who are really evil characters, they don't necessarily look at themselves as the villain. They're the hero of their story. So that's how I try to approach my evil characters, evil NPCs, the big bads that my players go up against. Now, remember, I spend most of my time running Call of Cthulhu, and even the insane cultists, I don't like play them as they're like, ah, right? I mean, it's like, once again, they may be insane, but they don't realize they're insane. So it's that's something to kind of keep an eye on. So, what is my take on the 3 action system? I'll be the first to point out I am a terrible person to ask about mechanics of games because for the most part, I usually don't care. So, like I say all the time, I pretty much run Call of Cthulhu pretty close to as written, except for a few things. One of them is the new chase system. I'm not a huge fan of it. I know a lot of people really love it in 7th edition CFC. Me, I'm like, eh. But I tend to really engage in a lot of theater of the mind. So I don't use miniatures. I don't tend to use maps, anything like that. Something that I've pointed out in the short series I've done so far for So You Want to Be a Game Master, I've pointed out to people, listen to old time radio shows. And I'm not talking about like Abbott and Costello, right? And Jack Benny's great, but Jack Benny's not going to help you as far as being a better game master. But listen to some like Inner Sanctum or some of the mystery shows like Johnny Dollar and things like that, because it'll help show you how you can set the scene and set the story, and all you have available to you is essentially exposition. That's what you got. Sure, sound effects, things like that. Yeah, of course. And yes, I know it's kind of silly if you listen to some of the old time radio shows where it's like, so Barbara, do you see that man across the road here? And he's wearing that brown jacket and he's got that blue hat on. Do you see him? It's like, yeah. Okay. That's poorly presented. They're not all like that. But definitely, I tell people all the time, listen to some old time radio shows. They're absolutely free. Don't get suckered into spending money on MP3s for old time radio shows because they're public domain. There's no copyright on them anymore, regardless of who tells you what from these places. So, Disavowed 92 says it's all about experiences. I agree. I completely agree. Flaming Heron says even Lawful isn't a totally good character. It's all relative to whoever you ask. Yeah, because normally Lawful is supposed to be just that you believe in, I guess we would say, the group over the individual is what Lawful basically boils down to. Unless we're jumping back to like old, like original D&D or basic, where you only have the 3 alignments. You've got lawful, neutral, and chaotic. And essentially lawful is good. Neutral is, whatever. A lot of gray. And chaotic is evil. So, yeah, there's just, once again, I'm not an alignment guy. I really am not. I don't like tying my players' hands like that. Now, saying that, I have no interest in running role-playing games where the party is evil. Because once again, I don't think a lot of people really know how to role-play evil characters either. When you have a group and they're all supposed to be evil, they spend all their time like backbiting and plotting against each other. And that really wouldn't be it. They could be evil and still pull together as a team to do evil things. So Cameron says there's the Star Wars radio dramas that are on YouTube. We might be talking about the old PBS radio dramas I'm sorry, NPR. Well, that is PBS. The NPR series I remember listening to when I was, probably think they started doing it when I was about 12, 13. Those are pretty good. But the older shows, JP Felconer is joined us. Good to see you, JPF. Talking about Suspense. Suspense is a great series. Yes. Suspense is a good series. Inner Sanctum's pretty decent. The scariest old-time radio show I have ever heard is from a show that did not run long. I think it ran about a year and a half, 2 years, and it's called Quiet Please is the name of the show. And the episode is The Thing on the Forble Board. And you can actually listen to it at thegaminggang.com, because what I used to do at Halloween is I used to share old-time radio shows that I would clean up the audio for. And Quiet Please is an old-time radio show that the recordings for are not real good. Especially like if you start listening to like old stuff from the late 20s, early 30s, real scratchy and stuff. But The Thing on the Forble Board, I tell you right now, as an adult listening to that, the ending of it just creeps the hell out of me. So, all right. Anything else we want to tackle in chat real quick before I wrap up for tonight? Once again, for folks who were tuning in late, on Monday afternoon, be sure to check out my interview that I do with Satine Phoenix and her husband, Jameson, as we talk about the new Kickstarter for, it's kind of funny. We're talking Pathfinder tonight. And I'm also talking about D&D having a 5th edition Kickstarter. We talk about that. That'll be up on Monday. That Kickstarter is kicking off on Tuesday. Speaking of Monday, we're going to take a look at Scope Stalingrad, the sniper card game. So we're going to be taking a look at that. That will be on Monday's show. On Tuesday's show, we are going to do a pace-through for Stargrave, which has just come out. So this is from Osprey. This actually just showed up today. Then on Wednesday, we're going to do a page-through of Polyversal. I know a lot of people are curious about this. It took a while for it to actually finally come out following the Kickstarter. This is from Colin's Epic War Games. Then on Thursday, we're going to do a page-through. We're doing some page-throughs next week of Jackals, which is a Bronze Age role-playing game from Osprey Games. So JPF says, find the suspense episode Leinengren versus the Ants. That rings a bell. That really does ring a bell. All right. So Lefter is creative, says, thanks for the honest reviews. I'm not here to I'm not here to blow smoke. I mean, this isn't a review. We're taking a peek. But I will have a review of the Bestiary 3 in the near future. All right. So that's it for tonight's show. If you like this video, by all means, please give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel if you haven't already. If you do subscribe, ding that bell, because it'll not only let you know when the Dispatch airs live Monday through Thursday nights right here on YouTube, I'll also tell you when I upload other videos as well, such as my recent review of World's Fair 1893 from Foxtrot Games and Renegade Games Studios. And this is actually the exclusive edition that's only available over on Amazon.com. Of course, I will also have review number 750 up probably Saturday. I don't think it'll be tomorrow, but it will definitely be Saturday. So yes, 750 reviews. Not all of them were video reviews, because for a long time we only did written reviews. We didn't do video. So I think there's about 350, 400 video reviews. Anyway, everybody have a great weekend, because I don't do a stream on Fridays. So of course, do want to mention, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com. Please do me a favor. Whenever you watch the show, swing over to thegaminggang.com, read an article, just check it out. Really, I'm really surprised that so many people watch the videos don't actually visit the website. There's so much more there that doesn't get tackled on the streams or the review videos. Plus, we got Sammy's role-playing game reviews. Those are all written reviews. Check them out. And of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, like I said, visit thegaminggang.com. Everybody who was watching live, thank you very much for taking part. We had some first-timers join us. Hope you had some fun hanging out with us. Hope we made you feel welcome and that you visit with us again. Of course, I do know there are people out there who don't have an opportunity to watch live. Hey, maybe you're even watching on Memorex. Thank you, all of you, regardless if you're watching live or after the fact. Thank you very much for taking time to hang out with me and watch these videos. I will be back on Monday. So everybody have a great weekend. And of course, as I wrap up all my videos during this never-ending pandemic, I hope all of you out there are being smart and staying safe. Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, if that's the case, by all means, if you haven't subscribed to the Gaming Gang channel yet, click right here. If you'd like to see the latest episode of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, click right up there. And if you want to trust YouTube's algorithm to give you something to watch, click right there. Once again, thanks so much for watching. And everybody, please wear a mask.